Hi, everybody. We're here at SOE Live 2014. We are with Dave Georgeson, Director of Development for the EverQuest franchise, and we're going to talk a little bit about Landmark and EverQuest Next and what's coming in this month and in the future of the franchise for this year. So, Dave, can you talk to us a little bit about what you guys are bringing to the table with Landmark and EverQuest Next? Let's start a little bit with Landmark, though. What are you guys bringing?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Landmark up until now has been mostly about building because we had to build the building tools first, or we couldn't build anything else. So we had to do that, and so everybody kind of looks at it as, oh, well, it's cool. You can stack blocks and curve them and smooth them and all that other stuff. But now's when we start to actually really change the game a lot. So we're adding in combat in the form of player versus player combat. So you'll be able to drop objects on your claim to be able to turn it into a PvP arena. So you can build any kind of arena you want and then set the rules. And we're going to release deathmatch, team deathmatch, and capture and hold games at the beginning, and then we'll do more later. And then in addition, we're adding a whole bunch of platforming objects. So you have teleporters and flingers and moving platforms that go up and down in any angle you want to, any speed. So you can adjust all that stuff so people can go crazy with those kinds of games. And those elements are super flexible. You can use them like in a build out. You can use them as just to have an elevator in your house, or you can do stuff in the PvP games so that you can set up all kinds of tricks and traps, or you can just create, any platformer you can imagine, and we'll start to add more and more along that line. But yeah, and then monsters come after that. So we showed off some monsters at the show, and then those will be coming in the next month. And when the monsters show up, then we'll be adding the AI editing tools, and it just goes on and on and on. But game mastering tools is where we're going to end up eventually, so that people can literally do everything we can do.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited about combat. I know, as much Minecraft as I played, I really enjoy the building. It's really fun, but I'm definitely excited to see combat finally hit Landmark and kind of open the door for, what we might see in EverQuest Next. So, and with that, I kind of wonder, it's a big question that gets asked. I'm sure you guys hear it a lot. We hear it a lot at our site, but can you kind of give us a breakdown of what is the big differences between Landmark and EverQuest Next for the people that don't know about the differences and maybe why they should get into one or the other, or what they should get excited about?
Sure. Well, EverQuest Next is the horse that pulls the cart. The stuff that we're building for Landmark are things that we need for EverQuest Next. But the differences between the games are Landmark is the players are making up the lore. We're gonna at the show we gave a little bit of lore about what the worlds of Landmark are like and why characters are there and how they came from different dimensions and all that other stuff, just so that the players have some wrapper that they can mess around with. But really, Landmark is all about what the players want to do, creating what's in their own imaginations, realizing their own dreams, finding like-minded people, like at Angel Bay where they do lots of fantasy stuff, or in Science Fiction Bay where they do all kinds of crazy spaceships and all that other stuff. Those communities are starting to gel, and that's really cool. But EverQuest Next is like an episodic TV series of a really immersive fantasy world. We're creating all kinds of lore and characters and situations that are both heroic and villainous, so players can do whatever they want to, and then the players choose which of those adventures they want to go on, what they want to participate in, and how they participate in it, so that they're actually steering the world but not creating it. EverQuest Next is our creation. It's an immersive world you can play in. Landmark is all the players. It's a giant toy box or a sandbox, however you want to look at it, for them to be able to build whatever they want to. They're just all built on the same skeleton. I mean, a lot of people do this all the time. They just normally build the game sequentially. Hey, we have this engine already that we built for game X. Why don't we build another game with it? What we're doing this time is, as we build the game, we're building one game, and then those elements are all needed for this other one. And so they're very different experiences, but built on the same tech.
Awesome. I'm really excited to see, these games starting to come. Landmark has been in development for a while. Open since Alpha have been a part of it, and it's really cool to see it kind of come together. I'm so excited to see combat finally hit it, and I know that you guys also, along with developing the combat for Landmark, are starting to get into EverQuest Next combat a lot heavier now, especially with that system. So can you tell us a little bit about what your plans are for combat in EverQuest Next? Because I know, that's the main thing you do in an MMO. You're always fighting, so it's a big part of it. So what kind of stuff do you guys have planned for it?
Well, combat is skill-oriented in both games. If you want to know more about EverQuest Next Combat, you can actually play a little bit of what we're introducing in Landmark, because in Landmark, you get your abilities from items. When you equip an item, you have different abilities, and then you can do different things. And that makes a lot of sense, and it's fun to play. In EverQuest Next, you are collecting classes. But classes have weapons, and the weapons have abilities. So it's the same fundamental mechanisms. So you're getting the feel of what EverQuest Next will be like by playing Landmark. But the combat itself is situationally oriented. So you need to keep track of your angle that you're attacking. You need to watch your opponents. Sometimes you need to lead your opponents because we're not doing hard locks. We're not doing that same standard gameplay. And then there's a crazy amount of action that's going on all the time. But you only have to worry about a few abilities at a time. So it's really easy to master whatever you're using at that moment, or whatever class you're using, and then get really good at it. And then as you collect more classes, you can start mix and matching the different secondary and passive abilities to really customize the class that you like. And so everybody will end up needing everybody, because I'm going to get into too much detail here real quick.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me try. So let's say you're playing like a wizard, and you only have like 4 major offensive abilities. So you kind of get that down, and you know what you're doing with a wizard, and maybe you can switch to some other classes if you want to. But with a wizard, it seems like, oh, I only have 4 abilities, and I can't do very much. But that's not the way the game is set up, because the environment reacts to what you're doing. At the show, we showed the Elementalist, how they could freeze the ground, and then somebody else could come along and break that ice, because they basically turned it from whatever it was into ice, and the ice is brittle, so they can shatter it and then fall through a hole into something below that. We also do combinations of powers, like somebody might set something on fire, and then somebody else has an ability that does something really cool when something's on fire. And then the AI also reacts to it too. Again, using the fire example, you could set something on fire, and a monster could be afraid of fire, so that they have those weaknesses. So there's a lot of stuff where you start playing with your abilities, so to find out what you can do using the environment, as well as other players tag teaming with you. And so there's a lot more variety to it than it seems at first blush, and the more you play, the more you find.
That's awesome. I'm pretty excited to see what you guys have so far, and especially, with getting a little taste of this in Landmark, it's going to be awesome to see what we can do with it. Along those lines, too, we're going to be getting PvP in Landmark. Yeah, PvP is really the start of what, eventually we want to get it to where you're fighting against monsters. But we also want to embrace PvP. There's 2 advantages to doing player versus player first. One of them is, your AI is really good, usually. And that lets we don't have to worry about the AI right off the bat. What we can do instead is we can focus on the we can focus on the fun factor of the interface, the buttons that you push, the movement, all that other stuff, and get that down, nail it down. And then we can add in the AI and the monsters later to make a really great experience. So that in this game, unlike most MMORPGs, the PvP and the PvE are both very competent, fun games, instead of PvP feeling like it was bolted on at the end. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited with the way things are starting to unfold with you guys' unique Storybricks AI. I'm really interested to see the way you guys implement PvP and things like that in EverQuest Next. Is there anything you can tell us this early about EverQuest Next PvP? Any plans you guys have that you might be able to kind of talk about a little bit?
No.
Okay, I was kind of expecting that, but that's right.
We do have some really cool ideas that we've had since almost like the very start of it, with houses and coalitions and how they work together and all this other stuff, but nothing that we can really talk about right now.
Okay, thanks so much, Dave. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. We're going to have a lot more coverage here from SOE Live 2014. Again, this was Dave Georgeson with the EverQuest Next franchise, and we will catch you again later. Thanks.